let's see what happens. Let's go to a sex party. And so I went and I loved it.
She comes back and she's like, so like, there's 2 stories and on the bottom floor, you're just mingling. And it's like the best. Everyone's so respectful, way more respectful than a bar. She's like, you would love this. And then upstairs, the fucking's happening. You don't even have to have sex. She was like, just enlightening me. And I was like, tell me when's the next one?
The world is always on, but you shouldn't be. Put junk sleep to bed. At Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale, save up to 60% on beauty rests with queen mattresses starting at $399.99. Only at Mattress Firm. Restrictions apply. See store or mattressfirm.com for details.
Live life at your pace. Click the banner or go to visitwilliamsburg.com to discover how. Because here in Williamsburg, life moves at one pace, yours. Visit a live archaeological dig site on the very grounds where America began, or walk the fields where our country was won. Live like a colonial by day or track 18th century ghosts by night. For all the history to be found here, there's plenty more to make for yourself. It's all waiting for you in Williamsburg. Book your trip today and live life at your pace.
Shh. Welcome to the Secret Life Podcast. Tell me your secret. I'll tell you mine. Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to reach the light. That's what I did. After 12 years of recovery in sex and love addiction, I finally found my soulmate, myself. Please join me in my novel, Secret Life of a Hollywood Sex and Love Addict, a 4-time bestseller on Amazon. It's a brutal, honest, raw, gnarly ride, but hilarious at the same time. Check it out now on Amazon. Welcome to Secret Life Podcast. I'm Breanne Davis-Gant. Today we're pulling back the curtains of all kinds of human secrets. We'll find out what people are hiding from themselves or others. You know, those deep, dark secrets you probably want to take to your grave, or those lighter, funnier secrets that are just plain embarrassing. Really, the how, what, when, where, why of it all. Today, oh my God, I'm so excited. I have 2 guests, and let's welcome Lindsey and Madison. Dun, dun, dun. What is your secret?
We're friends that go to sex parties together.
Oh my God, that was the best, like off but kind of on. So you
know we were not
parties?
together at all.
I love it. Let's roll with it. Like you go to sex parties together. Like
yes.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we do a lot more than that.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so, wait, let's take it back first. Okay, how long have you guys been friends? I really want to know that.
This is my longest friend as an adult. Like I've been friends with,
I feel like almost 9 years, almost a decade. Years. Yeah. This didn't start right. We met actually in a professional leadership program that had nothing to do with sex for many years. We did like a professional program together, and we're and
like then, Landmark, Momentum, that kind of thing.
Yes, Landmark, exactly.
Look, I guessed it. I love it.
You totally did. Yeah.
So were you guys going through hardships when you did Landmark? I think Landmark's great. Listen, it gets a little intense, but I think any program where you can learn about yourself. Yeah.
No, so the program that we were doing it is actually it's one of their higher programs for entrepreneurs wanting to like launch. I was definitely not going through a hardship. I was like, I'm going to launch my career from this. And I think Madison, you were the same.
Yeah, I was in college and I was like, how do I make my collegiate experience more badass and set me up for success? And I wanted to be in this entrepreneurial community like while in college. So when I graduated college, I just already had a professional community to tap into and network with. And little did I know I was going to make some of my best friends and start going to sex parties with them.
Okay, so when did that friendship and leadership program transfer to sex parties? Like, what was that jump?
Okay. There was a little bit of a bridge. So I'll tell the story super quick. So Madison met her husband in the program. So I was throwing her bachelorette party, and one of the gals bought her this book called Pussy Reclamation by Regina Tomashar. Great book, changed our lives, opened up this whole conversation. And me and Madison were going through sort of parallel storylines. I was with a different partner at the time, but she was starting to confide in me that she was bisexual. And then I started confiding in her, hey, me too.
Oh my God. I love it.
So that's another. So that's we were both in, heteronormative relationships at the time with men, both of us. She was married.
Okay.
And so I think I brought up the idea first, didn't I, Madison, about the sex party?
So I remember you were with your previous partner, and
oh my God, you guys should see her grin right now. It's really funny.
It's just the absurdity, right? Absurd. Like, I remember you were like, so you went to one with that. I went to one alone. Which is, so you scoped it out. You went with him. You came back with a full fucking report. You were like, you're going to love
But wait a minute.
bitch.
What made you even think to go by yourself or go with your partner to a sex party?
This part's a little fucked up. I mean,
I love a fucked up story. Okay. I mean, that's what Secret Life's about. Like, fuck it up.
So my partner at the time, my ex, he's now my ex, basically like, it's so cliche, went to Vegas, cheated on me. I caught him. And then we had the conversation where he was like, I just don't think I'm meant to be in a monogamous relationship.
Oh.
And I'm a very open person. So I was like, okay, like we worked through the trauma of the cheating and I was like, let's give this a try. Like I'm bisexual. Let's give this a try. Let's
open it up. Let's
see what happens. Let's go to a sex party. And so I went and I loved it.
Yeah. She comes back and she's like, so like, there's 2 stories and on the bottom floor, you're just mingling. And it's like the best. Everyone's so respectful, way more respectful in a bar. She's like, you would love this. And then upstairs, the fucking's happening. You don't even have to have sex. She was like, just enlightening me. And I was like, tell me when's the next one?
So then her interest is piqued. So
I'm now like, I need to talk to my husband about this. He's interested. Naturally,
he's like, okay. But let me just tell you guys, my husband and I have talked about, we've been together for 18 years. We haven't done anything like that, but he's not interested in, and either am I. So I find this fascinating because it's not something I'm interested in doing, but how do you even find a sex club? How do you even find a sex party? Like, I have no idea. I'm like a newbie. Right. You would think I would know, but I don't.
Well, I mean, we've honestly graduated at this point. So like, I'll tell you, for anyone listening who's interested, I'll tell you a few resources. So so I literally just Googled it and I Googled it. I was like, Los Angeles sex parties. And this thing came, I forget what it's called now, but it was like one of those websites where you submit a picture and then you pay for the tickets. It was like very expensive. It was like, pretty expensive. So
how much? Like just the estimate?
Couple $100 per couple, but
200
200 or 300 a couple. But that price point I find kind of weeds out the riffraff a little bit. Like you're like, okay, these people are committed.
Serious.
They're serious. Yeah. So, and then there's a whole consent based conversation and there's security. But Madison and I, we started going to parties like that, but we've graduated. We now like throw our own. I would say there's like a difference between a sex party and a play party.
Okay.
So now we've thrown our own. Madison's thrown a lot. And we have a whole sex positive community. Basically, like all of our friends are polyamorous now.
Oh my God. Did you taint all your friends?
Kind of.
You're like in your web of like, let's play.
Yep. We did. And then we started meeting more like-minded people. So, at a traditional sex party, I would say you go and it's strangers, which, if that's your kink, like that's cool. Yeah. But Madison, I guess I can let you really explain the difference between a sex party and a play party pretty well.
I love how you said like we graduated. Like there is like an evolution here that one goes through naturally. Yeah. So in can we talk about non-monogamy for a quick
go
sec?
ahead.
Yeah. So non-monogamy as an umbrella term. people also are like, okay, is that an open relationship? Is that a polyamorous relationship? Like, is it swinging? Like, it could be so many things. And it really comes down to your boundaries and communicating them. And you can kind of be fluid, and you can bounce around in the spectrum of non-monogamy. You could try polyamory, and then you could close your container, right? So in the context of like sex parties and play parties, I would call a sex party polyfuckery.
Okay. Never heard that before.
We're there to fuck. And polyamory literally translates to multi-love. So, and I've had people in my day be like, are you even poly? Like, you don't want to go out with me and have sex with me? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, because I'm poly, I need to be attracted to everyone who wants to fuck me. Are you kidding me?
No, you still have to be attracted to somebody and like them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what I feel like we really saw is like at these parties, like you're there to have sex. So there's an element of like fuckery, like let's call it. No judgment on that. It is just what it is.
Or to meet people and like expand your community, which we did as well.
And I feel like those connections are like a little bit far and fewer. Like definitely we've made friends at every party we've gone to and added them to our community. It's not like you're going to be in conversation with every single person. There's like a very clear intention.
Yeah. I mean, you're going there with a purpose. You're not going there to like.
You went with a purpose. Yeah. Lay parties though are really inside of community, inside of people who already know each other. There may be other activities. There might be a focus on sensuality or some sort of workshop component, maybe a meal that's shared. It doesn't cost money because it's within a community of friends. Yes. So we're not, no one's charging anyone to be there, right? Someone in the community that's generous and living in their abundance will host one. Yeah. So it's very, very clear difference of like energy between the two worlds, right? At a sex party, you don't know people. People are buying a ticket from a company's website.
Which can be really hot too.
Really hot. So,
any stranger. I mean, give me something dark and dirty and seedy and I'm all in it. The cool
we took our whole friend group to a
like we literally you want to hear a crazy secret?
Took your play you want to hear another secret? Yes, but let me just say you took your play fuckery and took it to the sex party.
No, we took like our normal friends who had never been to a sex party and convinced like 8 of our friends on Halloween a few years ago to all go to the sex party together.
Oh my God.
No, get this though. Our friend, the other co-host of Clit Talk, our podcast, got pregnant at the sex party.
Monogamous as the
it was with her. It was with her husband, but still.
Oh yeah. Oh my God! I thought it was with a stranger.
No.
Welcome, baby.
With her husband,
welcome.
They had been trying.
No, but so like, and like sex parties are like the cool thing about sex parties too is there's, some people are going to have sex, but then some people go just to voyeur, right?
Yeah, just to watch. And so the first few I went to, I didn't have sex with anybody. Me and my partner just watched, and some people go just to do that. Some people love to be watched, and that can be really hot too. So like if you're like monogamous, you could still go to a sex party and kind of spice things up just by watching and get all hot and bothered and then go home and have sex or something. Like people do that too.
Yeah.
And listen, everybody thinks because I am in recovery for sex and love addiction, I don't believe in like open, and I'm down for anybody's sexuality and what that looks like, as long as there's no secrets, no lies, communication, trust, all of that. So if this is like floating your boat, like look them up and get some information, because anything to connect to another human and have that love, as long as it's safe, I believe I'm down for. But here's the one thing I think people are going to be, with your partners, did you become jealous? Have you guys got it like addicted to one specific person, or any crazy things happen like that? Or is it just pretty?
I would say for me, it's been a huge evolution. Like since starting to open up my marriage and going to sex parties and then to play parties. I actually had a girlfriend before we went to our first sex party. I started a relationship with a woman because I came out in my marriage at 24. Yeah. And my partner allowed me the space to have this girlfriend. She ended up like breaking up with me like 8 months in because she met a man and wanted to like spend forever with him, blah, blah, blah.
blah, blah.
Madison's over it.
Blah, blah, blah. That fairy tale, blah.
Blah, blah. And for me, it's been such an arc over the last 5 years. Like, yes, I used to be so jealous, and my partner used to attract women that would just make anyone jealous, not because of how they look, but their way of being just was not authentic. And I didn't feel fully honored and respected and seen and appreciated and valued for sharing my husband. And like, here we are 5 years later, my husband has a girlfriend who he's head over heels in love with, who he wants to spend the rest of his life with, who is so high vibe. Like, literally, this woman is so conscious and incredible. I love her. We exchange I love yous. Like, there's just only compersion. Compersion is when you have joy for someone's joy and pleasure.
Does she live with you guys or no? No. So she's just a girlfriend down the street or across town?
I mean, across town, we live in Los Angeles. So yeah, she lives in another part of LA, and yeah, they see each other. Like, you know, my husband is a pilot, so he's gone about 60% of the time. So like, when he said he wanted a girlfriend, the first thing I had to look at was like, shit, I only spend 12 days a month with you. Now I'm only going to get to spend 8.
Wow.
Okay.
When you drive the brand ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power, you can stop thinking about what you can't do and start doing what you never thought possible. Visit your local Kia dealer today to see yourself behind the wheel of the brand ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely. Kia received the fewest reported problems among all brands in the J.D. Power 2022 U.S. Vehicle Dependability Study based on 2019 models. See jdpower.com/awards for 2022 details.
By giving, people will be helping Nationwide Children's Hospital find cures, brighten patients' holidays, and people will be able to support their neighbors when they need it most. When they donate, they will activate in real time a butterfly-inspired light show for patients this holiday season. They will add holiday cheer to the lives of kids who really need a reason to smile. No one wants to think about their child being sick, but should that day come, the donation they make this year could help the care their child could need in the future. Please give now at nationwidechildrens.org/give.
It's finally here. The Macy's Friends and Family Sale with an extra 30% off gifts they'll love. Get an extra 25% off dressed up designer looks for kids from Calvin Klein and more, plus an extra 25% off Samsonite and Delsey luggage. With great prices from top designers, Macy's has all the best deals you won't want to miss this week. And don't forget to sign up for a Macy's card or use a coupon to get 15% off beauty products they'll love this season. Visit Macys.com to find great holiday deals today.
Did that take process for you to, or was it pretty quick since you've already been in?
If this was quick because of where I'm at now, I mean, I am we're communication and intimacy coaches. We practice what we preach. We have a community of like badass.
This has been like a multi-year evolution for you. Absolutely.
Yeah. 5 years in the making. Like, I didn't just get to this place of being like, I have compersion because my husband's in love with another woman. Like, no, that took years of work and fails. Like, he had, you know, over the last couple of years, he had 2 different girlfriends that were just disasters. Like, we almost divorced. But guess what? It takes a village to have a relationship, right? This is something that me and Lindsey live by. Like, I am clear without my community and Lindsey being like a pinnacle of that, like a main face of that for me, I would not be married to my husband still. We would have not made it. We wouldn't have been able to move through those conversations had we not done tantric couples counseling or therapy or like
relationships are work. There was a time. They are hard work, and you have to put in the work if you want it to survive. And they are going to shift over the years. I mean, how my husband and I was 18 years ago to now, we shifted, and you have to.
And Madison is in a very different place than me. So obviously I started this journey with someone who's no longer my partner, and I did my best I was, you know, so in love with him, tried everything to make it work. But I was honestly brought into the world in a pretty traumatic way.
What do you mean?
The actual sex part, seeing him with other people didn't make me jealous, but there was no aftercare. There's a lot. If you're going to, you know, enter into a conversation like this, whether it's swinging or polyamory or the occasional threesome, there's aftercare that needs to happen and conversations and communication. And it was basically like, deal with your own shit. And that doesn't work. So our relationship didn't work for a plethora of reasons. But when I was single, I was loving the lifestyle. I was like single, going with my girlfriends to sex parties. I was, you know, the guest star in a lot of threesomes. And that was really empowering for me. Like, I had never. Do you think you found
your sexuality more?
Yes. I mean, the journey that we've gone through the last, you know, since reading the book and the podcast and everything, I processed through so much shame sexual shame, sexual trauma. And I was in my early 30s and sexually empowered for the first time and having sex on my own terms and doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do. I wasn't worried about being called a slut. I wasn't worried about what people would think. I was sitting with my sex center and asking my body what I wanted to do.
That is so empowering. That just gave me the chills, because we are taught as women not to honor our sexuality, to downplay it, to manipulate with it, and to you to sit in it and say, what do I need? And where this is coming from, and pure communication, and not using it as a currency, your sexuality. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. And I mean, I have to say, we were talking about Landmark earlier. Madison and I I've done so much transformational work and therapy and all this stuff. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this conversation is because the missing link for me was bringing it together with my sacred sexuality and really like breaking through those barriers of what was shameful. What did I want? Like, another breakthrough that I had is I'm a very kinky person. I have very kinky taboo fantasies. I like role play.
Ooh, can you give me a couple?
I mean, I love to pretend that I'm like the babysitter and like the dad comes home. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. Or like, like a ring of soccer dads. Like, I'm just like, like this teenage slut.
Oh my God, I love it.
I mean, it's all fantasy for me.
It's fantasy, and fantasy is great. That's what it's about, is fantasy.
Yeah. But for a long time, I felt so much shame because those are pretty taboo fantasies. And I realized that I'm something that's called like a cerebral kink. Like, I don't need to be tied up or spanked. Like, it's all in my head. And once I had that knowledge, I was able to step into my sexuality and really ask for what I wanted.
That's beautiful. And now you're in a relationship, you said.
Yes. Okay. So I went through my whole like sexually empowered single time. It didn't last that long because now I met my now fiance. And so we're honestly in a very different position. Madison is sort of like the success, like the poly princess. Like she's done so much work over these last years. I have basically been in a monogamous relationship for the last few years. We've had a few experiences, but there's a lot of fear for me. Like when I from like trauma and past, and the way I presented myself to my partner when I first met him was like, yes, I'm down for this stuff. But now that I'm deeply in love with him, I'm really I was like a fear. And so once again, I'm having to sit with myself and I'm like, what do I really want? Because for him, it really is the way that what he desires. And he's been so patient with me. So now we're actually about to sort of open things up again after many years. And we are going to go to a sex party where we don't know anyone, because that feels safer to me.
Oh my God, that feels 10 times safer to me than a bunch of people I know. So when you guys said you were with your friends, I was like, no go for me over there. But like strangers, no problem.
Exactly. So, and that's why like both sex and play parties are great options for wherever you're at. So, and we're going to go and explore it and see how it feels. My last partner, I would say, like, if you have a partner that's trying to force you into this, I felt not forced before. But if you have a partner that's willing to go step by step with you and be patient and explore it with you, then I think it's a great fit for a couple,
It's definitely a recipe for success.
It is. If you have the tools, because you guys did the tools. You need the tools. You actually have to work through the trauma and all that stuff. I believe.
Yes, absolutely.
And doing the work as a couple, like these two have they have shown up, right, to like do the work as a couple and go through counseling and all of the things that would set them up for success. It's not like, hey, let's go to the sex party to fix this thing. It's like, hey, we've worked on ourselves and now what do we want to create, right? That works abundance energy versus like, there's something wrong and this will fix it. That's always the recipe for disaster, heartbreak, turmoil. Don't do that. Don't do non-monogamy because you think it's going to make your relationship better. That's like
having a child when your relationship is bad and you're like, let's bring a child. That's literally what you're doing.
There's got to be some genuine desire on both behalves. Like, do not do this for another person. It's not going to work.
And so it's not going to work. And so here's where I'm at with the play party, sex party conversation, is Like I have one coming up. Okay. My husband's out of town. I do have a boyfriend also that I'm so in love with. It's
star.
There's another secret.
We've got lots of secrets.
I'm dating a secret famous rock star. Yeah, it's been like I'm just like a little kid right now. Like I'm like the
Is the rock star single?
Like,
yes.
Yeah,
okay.
he's single.
I just was like, okay. I was just stopping.
And I have this. I'm my other. Yeah, I'm like I have this.
Is he on tour right now? Like we're trying to get this secret.
He's literally just got on a plane right now to go on tour
today. We gotta see who's touring. Everybody go look and see who's touring and try to figure it out.
Try to figure out who I'm dating. Yeah, and he just actually said "I love you" for the first time the other day.
I didn't know that.
I know.
See, like that for me, like that would never work for me and my fiance. Madison has like other relationships. Like all I'm looking to do is like the occasional threesome here and there. Like,
no, I don't think that would work for me either. I don't think I would want my husband to say I love you to somebody else. I think that I would never be able to handle that because I already had so much trauma and fear of intimacy and abandonment and self-worth, and it's taken over like 15 years to work on that. Yeah. So it might work for some people, but it doesn't mean what you go through is any less important than what she's going through is what I love. That you both are coming from different aspects and using this.
And look, like we still make out.
Well, you two make out.
Sometimes.
Secret number 3.
I know. How many secrets do we have in this episode? Like in our group of friends, like everyone's had sex with each other. I know that sounds really weird, but like when you go, like it sounds super weird on one side of the curtain. And then when you go through and you really transform the conversation of the difference between love, intimacy, and sex, right? They can all be together or they can be separate things.
Completely. Yeah.
And you know, I always say though, like the weirdest thing about a sex party is how when you get there and you're in the middle of it, how not weird it is.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it would take like 2 seconds and you're like, oh, this is actually feels kind of normal. But oh my God, this has like been the best episode ever. Literally, I can keep talking to you. I know. I want people to hear your podcast, which is so great. So can you tell them a little bit about your podcast, how long it's been on, where they can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So the podcast is called Clit Talk. We have over 250 episodes. We've been doing it for 5 years now. We have, you know, we are really pleasure researchers, I would say. And we've interviewed everyone from medical doctors to therapists to porn stars to sexperts to tantric teachers, everybody really. And our goal is to remove shame from what some people would perceive taboo topics. And we cover a plethora, like I know we've been talking a lot about polyamory and sex parties, but we also cover, you know, sexual health, you know, masturbation is really a health conversation. And, you know, really like body liberation. We cover a plethora of things. It's really just our goal is to have 1 million people living what we call a pleasure positive life and
to educate and open
and to
open
educate.
The conversation. Yeah.
Exactly. And so like what's come of our work actually is last year we launched our, we have an 8-week live immersive online course called Sex and Empowerment. And we launched it last year and we're launching it again this year in March. And so we have a couple, I think some free masterclasses coming up. Like because of this journey, we have become intimacy and communication coaches and really bringing communication to the realm of sex and empowerment. And having people have the same sort of results that we have, not just the sex parties, but like we've launched our careers. I found the love of my life. Like this whole conversation has really changed our lives. And so we wanted to synthesize it into 8 weeks for people what took us 5 years to accomplish.
I love anything taking your journey and giving it to other people so they can heal and go through the process and get to their peaceful, serene, happy, not happy all the time, but place where they feel attached to themselves and feel love for themselves.
Yeah. And then if your listeners want, we do have a free gift that we'd love to offer.
Oh yeah. They love
if you
free
want
gifts.
If you want to jumpstart into the podcast, we have taken kind of like the 5 years and put it into a Cliff Notes, if you will. It's like a free audio training. You could just go to clittalkshow.com/guide and get a free download of a bunch of our best sex tips of the last 5 years, our best advice, our best communication tools. And it's all in one place, a little free gift for everyone.
And we'll put that in the description so you can just go there. Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh my God. Thank you both so much for coming on. This has been such an education for me as well, being in the sex and love arena of addiction, obviously.
Yeah.
But I love looking at the other side of it and seeing how, yes, I deal with like the negative and how it can kill you pretty much. And you guys are trying to bring it into the light. And so after you do the trauma work, all of that, I suggest to go and like get attached to your sexuality and how you actually want to be in this world in a healthy way is what
There's
I
lots
love.
of options.
Yeah.
You don't have to be polyamorous to be sexually empowered.
Yeah. And literally, you know, just to like leave it on this note, is that sex is sacred. And by sacred, I mean healing. Pleasure is medicine, you know, and when we we reframe our relationship to our sexuality, the depths of intimacy, connection, bliss, pleasure that can be experienced is profound. So we're here to show up for this conversation differently. This is a spiritual conversation. You know, it's not about P and the V. This is about like expanding our highest self, if we choose to look at it like that. So once you've done your trauma healing, very important. Me and Lindsey have both gone through that.
Therapy, the whole gamut.
I've experienced a lot of sexual abuse. Yeah. Like we've been there. We've experienced unconsensual sexual experiences. And it took years to do that work. Keep doing your work. It's perfect. It's unfolding exactly as it's supposed to be. And we are here for you when you're ready to tap into your pleasure positive life.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Lindsey. Thank you, Madison. And
thank you for having us.
Oh my God. I just got inspired. Anyways, if you want to be on the show, please email me at secretlifepodcast@icloud.com. Until next time. Thanks again for listening to the show. Please subscribe, rate, share, or send me a note at secretlifepodcast.com. And if you'd like to check out my book, head over to secretlifenovel.com or Amazon to pick up a copy for yourself or someone you love. Thanks again. See you soon.
When you drive the brand ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power, you can stop thinking about what you can't do and start doing what you never thought possible. Visit your local Kia dealer today to see yourself behind the wheel of the brand ranked #1 in dependability by J.D. Power. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Always drive safely. Kia received the fewest reported problems among all brands in the J.D. Power 2022 U.S. Vehicle Dependability Study based on 2019 models. See jdpower.com/awards for 2022 details.
You're a holiday powerhouse. You host the dinners, shovel neighbors' sidewalks, and make everything from scratch. You definitely don't need help making the holidays happen. But Dunkin's Holiday Blend Coffee? A warming medium roast complete with sweet notes of dried fruit and molasses. Or a cranberry orange muffin made with real cranberries just might convince you a little help never hurt. Especially the hot caffeinated kind. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Terms apply.